Hi everyone, thanks for watching The Tattooed Psychic and tuning into The Tattooed Psychic. I am The Tattooed Psychic. Today I want to first off say thank you for hitting the subscribe button and liking my channel and booking readings with me. And if you like this video or you're just curious, hit the like and subscribe button. I know everyone says that, but let's get that out of the way because I want to tell you what's been going on with me this week, and I'm sure it's been going on with you this week. If you're listening to this, or someone you know, or maybe you're getting into it now, maybe the beginning of it. Anyway, so this week I was feeling guilty because I'm not on top of my channel and I'm not on top of my podcast like I should be, like I feel like I should be. And so I was listening to the horoscopes of Capricorns because I'm a Capricorn, and I have certain people I listen to, and they were saying that some of us are going into a hermit mode, and even I was getting that from spirit. Like, you have to sometimes go into a place where you withdraw from people so you can learn and figure out this energy, so when other people go through it, you can explain it to them and understand it better for yourself, and it helps you grow, right? Especially if you're a healer, it's important that you understand being alone sometimes is your best way to learn, if that makes sense. So I was doing that, and I let go of the guilt. But here's an interesting thing. I've been listening to different people talk about reprogramming the brain and how we can manifest the things we want by changing our energy and our frequency. And it's been interesting to me because what I have seen since I've been doing some cellular work, and since I have been really getting rid of the trauma of the past few years, because I've had a lot of trauma and I suppressed it, right? And it was interesting to hear some of these people talk about trauma and how it really affects our growth from achieving our greatness, because we become addicted to certain energies, or we become used to certain energy patterns. And so that's why many people self-sabotage when they start to become successful, or good things start happening to them, because they're used to bad things. So your brain triggers that, like, oh, good things are happening, that means something awful is coming soon. Where you have to reprogram your brain to operate on the frequency like everything is always going to work out for me because I deserve that. There's a lot of work to be done here, when it comes to this belief system, because you have to get really real to heal. And if you watch my videos, you know that I often talk about that. It's not fun to go back and look at some of the things you've done in life that you're not proud of. That's not fun, right? But when you hold on to that trauma or things that have happened to you, especially if you've been abused or whatever, or as a childhood trauma, adult trauma, it doesn't matter. Trauma is trauma, and you don't deal with it, and you just have to suppress it because you just have to move on with life, right? It's still there, and it keeps you from obtaining the life that you really deserve, honestly. And it's not always fun work. I know for me, I've had to do a lot of work. I've had to look at my life and go, God, I haven't been perfect. I haven't always been nice. I haven't always been the best I can be. That's a fact. But I try, and I keep trying, and that's the key, right? And I still go out and learn and try to learn from other people. Say they see orbs or things. I don't know what those are, honestly, but I don't mind it. Anyway, so I find that if I don't get real with myself, then I'm just a bullshitter, in this life. Like, I can't. That's just me, though. You know what I mean? And I know there's other people who feel that way. They want to be the best they can be and not be a victim to their life, but be a warrior. And that's what successful people are, is they're not victims. They are warriors, and success is however you define success, right? So that being said, I reached a spirit, and they said, don't beat yourself up. This is all going to happen when it's meant to happen, and the words will come when the words are meant to come. Right now you need to heal still, because there's always healing to be done when you start to unveil, your spiritual path and your psychic self, your intuitive self, your true self, the person you are truly meant to be on this earth. It's it's how you have to let go of a lot of those layers, and you, the more you go down, the more you can see that trauma might stem from a young age, and you have to get to that point to heal the trauma where it began. You understand me? Like, some people's trauma begins in the womb. Some people's trauma happens when they're 3, 5, 7, you know, it doesn't matter what age, that you have to get to that point. And in my readings, that's one thing I'm blessed to be able to do, is get to that point, because my goal when I give my readings is to help you heal that trauma. That's the kind of healer I am. So that being said, I got some cards. As you know, and I've noticed that a lot of people are using the shaman's dream card, which I really like. That means the shaman's dream oracle cards, because that means that people are right in the same wavelength, if you know what I mean. Like, a lot of people are operating right now on a spiritual opening, whether you want to call it spiritual or whatnot, you know, whatever. People are awakening to their true self, you know what I mean? And so that is very crucial and important. So we have Lady Portia. And we've had these cards before, so it's almost like I feel like I'm terrible because I keep drawing the same cards, but it just means the same energies are with us. Lady Portia, divine order. Do what you feel is right. An important lesson is unfolding. I think that's just what we said. And then Archangel Michael, who many people work with Archangel Michael. He's a very popular deity. You are safe. Angels stand close. Surrender your concerns and allow a miracle to occur. See, this is, here we go. Okay, let's talk about self-sabotage, because I am so guilty of this. Faye, you don't deserve good things. Right? And it all gets down to that core of the childhood. When your own mother doesn't love you growing up, it fucks with you for a long time, because mothers are the nurturer, right? So, Archangel Michael reminds us that we are always protected. If you operate on a divine source, you are always protected. And what I mean by divine source is your intention is there to be the best you can be, and to help heal people, and to focus on the things to better yourself, to keep being open to learning, keep being open to understanding the difficult, painful parts of yourself and others, and forgiving, and having that heart open. Here's where I'm at in my path right now, is I'm learning how to open my heart, and it's and I don't mean in romantic love, I just mean in life, to learn how to operate from the heart chakra more. And it's an interesting journey, and if you're on that journey, I suggest you stick to it, because sometimes when you're on this journey, you get to some painful parts of your onion, if you know what I mean. The layers are painful, and you have to admit some things that are painful, and it's okay, because once that energy is gone, and you faced it, and you're able to understand it, then understand that you're growing. You know, that's awesome. And self-sabotage, that energy, especially people who are victims of abuse as a child or even an adult, is very common, because we are not taught in our brain is programmed by the time we're 7, really, and on emotionally, spiritually, how we should feel about ourselves. And when you grow up in abuse at a very young age, your brain is programmed to self-sabotage, because you're used to failure. You're used to hoping things work out, and then they don't. You know what I mean? You're used to praying as a kid that the abuse will stop, and it doesn't. So you give up on that hope. I hope all that makes sense. And that's the journey I've been on. It's been very interesting. And remembering moments of abuse is not fun, but we have to do that in order to free ourselves from this pain and this agony, if you know what I mean. It has to be released. It has to be let go, Spirit says. So here we go. And you guys are going to laugh when I pull up these other cards, because I mean, if you watch the videos, we've had these cards this week, I think. Perfect Storm, that's a beautiful card. The courage to step into life, and that's opening the heart chakra. That's opening, understanding how the brain works, how the spirit in the brain work together, and that type of thing. And then we have 22 Fools embrace transmitting pain. So this is another thing we have to, I just said this, I'm sorry, we're on the same wavelength, but it's transmitting pain, learning to, it's part of life. It sucks. And then walking tree, reconciliations, and that means forgiveness. And also that you will find reconciliation with yourself too in this journey. And when we self-sabotage, that means we do have to reconcile with ourselves and others who have hurt us. Let's get real. We don't fuck up ourselves a lot, Eventually we start to, because that's what we're taught. But in the beginning, our abusers fuck us up. So we come into this earth, even Spirit says that. Thank you, Spirit. We come into this earth, as loving, kind beings, I mean, I guess not everyone, they say, there are a very small percentage that are born evil, but very small percentage. Let's see. Usually, like I said, some people can handle abuse and some cannot. That's all I'll say. And then we go with Freya. She's been in our path many times. Phases and cycles. I know my nails look fabulous because they're so sparkly. I'm trying to get the light. There we go. There is a beginning with every ending. Illusions are revealed and released. Sorry. That took me a minute to see that. How do I word this? It's like this. I don't know what's going on in the world. I can't even look at the news, honestly, because it's so crazy, right? Everything is so crazy. And so I think it takes a real discipline to really focus on changing your life and staying positive in this world and not letting it get to us. And if you're doing that, then you are a fucking warrior. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. And you're meant to do bigger things, and you're meant to share with your gifts with the world. I truly believe that, and I truly believe people are waking up to that. And Spirit believes it too. They know it, that it's happening. More and more people are reaching for these spiritual connections, these spiritual moments of time where they get their life purpose, that they know it's not going to be easy to get there, but they get there. And when you look at people who have done this and the journey they have taken, they're so strong, right? They're so strong. Like, I watch a lot of drag queen shows. I love drag. I was raised around drag queens. I had gay men raising me when I became a teenager. And I watched the struggle back in the 80s that the gay community went through. And that being said, when I see drag today, I'm just so impressed and so amazed how in the society things have changed. And I don't want to get political or anything, but I just hate the attack on everybody right now. It's just horrible. Anyway, that being said, I look at drag queens and the things like Sasha Colby and the things that she has gone through in her life. If you don't know who she is, you can Google her or YouTube her or whatever. She's amazing. And there's other, the most current ones, Anitra, Jinx Monsoon. I mean, the really popular ones, but there's so many, endless names. And I look at them and I think, wow. And I always think of my friends who are no longer here that fought for people to be able to be who they want to be, and yeah. And I feel like sometimes I look at Spirit and go, why are we here? Like, what is the purpose of all of this? This world is crazy. People are so crazy right now. You can't do anything. People are offended. People are pulling out guns. It's craziness. And, and Spirit always just comes back and says, but it all has a reason, and people need to figure out the power of love. But here's the cool part is people are. And we don't always see it in the media, and we probably never will, because the media doesn't want us to realize that love can overcome hate. that people have the right to express themselves how they want, as long as they don't hurt people. That's my only thing. Don't hurt anyone, and just be yourself, man. Whatever, whoever it is. If you want to wear, you know, animal costumes all day and go to work, I think you should be able to do that. I don't know. You know, if that's your thing, as long as you're not hurting people. That's my only thing. I don't care what people do or who they love or anything, as long as they're loving and being good. That's it. And I think we should all have that mentality. And I'm not perfect, right? I get angry at people. You know, recently there's this one person who's so disrespectful and so rude, and this lady that I come across once in a while. I don't even know if she's a lady. This young girl. She's probably in her 30s, but she's very immature, you know, and it's difficult for me not to get angry at her actions, right? But then I have to catch myself, like, I actually should feel bad for her, because clearly she's hurting. Something happened to her and she hasn't done the work. But so nobody's perfect. We all have, you know, negative feelings once in a while, but I think the key is to keep growing and to keep practicing kindness and love and understanding, and catching yourself when you're in the negative, and that helps you break the cycle of self-sabotage. Is just paying attention to how your mental state is treating your physical body, because when we think negative things, our body reacts in a negative. And right now, yesterday I was listening to this man speak, and he was talking about how, you know, the cells react and it can cause cancer and all of that. And I believe that. And I truly believe that. The negative thinking can really make your body sick. And so that being said, let's see. I hope all this makes sense. I know it does to somebody. And here we go again. Another one. Contract, sacred contract. This is our time, people. Sacred contracts are being honored. Boop, boop. And also rewrite, thank you, Spirit. Also rewrite your contract if you want. Rewrite. I've written my contract 3 times. How many times, Spirit? 4 times, they say. Oh, she's right. Just recently I did rewrite my contract. I did. And you can, because your life changes, right? And you can be released from contracts, and you can ask your spirit guide to rewrite it, because you might not jive with what you initially thought when you wrote that contract, you know what I mean? Because when we're on the side, you know, I used to be a follower of Sylvia Brown. I took her courses, I went to her church, and she wasn't a very strong force, you know. That being said, she used to say, you know, about sacred contracts, you know, it is okay to rewrite them, because when you're on the other side, thank you, Spirit, when you're on the other side, life is good. Your existence is blissful. You're like, yeah, throw that at me, you know, throw that abuse at me, you know, and I can handle it, because I'm strong. I can do anything. But, you know, you get here and it's another reality. So, yeah, if you're feeling that, if you're feeling like, you know what, I thought I wanted to do this, but now I want to do this, can we rewrite my contract? All contracts are negotiable. But we are at a time where we have to honor them. There's parts of your contract you can't change, your natural gifts, your purpose on earth, that type of thing. But you can change how you obtain it. I hope that makes sense. If not, ask questions in the comments. And we got another person, Isis. Magic manifesting. Look at, I love green. Green is a good color right now for people. Your dreams, visions, and goals are becoming reality. Step forward. It's true. And that's part of your sacred contract too. Isn't it cool? Isn't Spirit cool? Anyway, that is all for me today. I have to get going. I have a beautiful brunch I am having with my friend Nancy and my beautiful daughter. And it's a rainy day here in Washington, as usual, but I hope wherever you are, the sun is shining, and I hope that you feel wonderful and beautiful and you feel loved. And one thing I want to remind you all is, I know it's strange, right? I used to talk about this in my live show. I used to say, you know, it's interesting to me how we feel so lonely in a world full of people. It's fascinating, isn't it? It's just so bizarre. I can walk out of where I am, and there's people everywhere, but so many people are lonely. So I want to tell you this. If you are lonely or you feel alone, know that you're not. That Spirit's always around. Close your eyes. Imagine your spirit guides with you. Imagine your ancestors. Use your imagination. That's what it's there for. And part of connecting with your spirituality is using that visualization in our brain, because that amplifies our connection with Spirit. It really does. And I'm going to be honest, I have a lot of videos I have to make. And I've been procrastinating, like I said, because in my spirit I have been feeling like I've had to hermit for a minute and reevaluate and structure and learn how to maintain that energy of constant gratefulness and that heart chakra energy open, which many people have achieved, and it is possible. And they've gone from poverty to wealth. And that feeling of abundance at all times. So when you get wealth, you just give it away because you're always abundant. That that type of place. And I mean, I want to get to that place, and I know I'm very close, and I know some of you are very close, because many people don't realize that if you want success, it's okay to want success. It's okay to want that, because we need it in our lives. We need money. We need these things to survive. But I think the energy that people forget is you have to put out that energy of grateful abundance, and for grateful abundance to find you. And it takes a while to figure that out, right? It does not happen overnight, but it takes a lot of practice. And I've been really practicing on that. And like I tell some of my students, they want so badly to talk to their spirit guides and all of that, and to actually have this one-on-one conversation. And it is possible, but it takes practice. It takes time for you to reach that level. You have to kind of learn about the ego. It's a lot of teaching. It's a lot of learning. It's a lot of learning about how your brain works. It's a lot of understanding the brain and spirit connection, your life force, what the spirit is, who spirit guides are. It's a lot of you taking time to educate yourself on that and learn, And that's what it takes, my brothers and sisters. So that being said, I love you all and know that you are loved. And if you would like a reading with me, readingswithfaye@gmail.com. Also, if you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. And you can also find me on Spotify, Anchor Podcast, Spotify Podcast, The Tattooed Psychic, if you like my podcast. And on my podcast, I am starting a series where I read a book. This first book, I haven't decided on the first book yet, but it will be like a spooky ghost story. And I'm calling it Bedtime Stories with Faye, or something like that. I don't know yet, but we will be, doing that on the podcast only. But the YouTube channel is growing, and I'm looking for guests. If you are a healer, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, we can do this. And or a healer, a musician, an artist, a philosopher, a teacher, or a housewife, whatever. If you have a story to tell and you want to share it with others in a positive light, in a safe environment, please reach out to me, readingswithfaye@gmail.com, or leave a message in the comments. I love you all. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Remember, you are loved. Be the love you want to see.